Guys, welcome back to my channel. So guys, today we are going to discuss something quite interesting. You're going to love it, and it's something that is very common in most families. We are going to look at the best way to handle siblings rivalry. Yes, this is something that is quite common in most families. About 90% of families experience this in their homes. So we are going to talk about it so that we can know how to handle it, because you may be facing this without knowing the solution to it. So I'm just going to mention some few points that will help you handle this siblings rivalry. But first of all, I would like to define this word. According to my simple definition here is it is a competition or animosity between siblings in one family. Siblings rivalry simply means competition or animosity between siblings in one family. This is a very simple definition of siblings rivalry. So you find out that in most families, you see a lot of competitions, a lot of animosity between siblings. You'll be wondering what is going on. So we are going to talk about those things and talk about the solution on how to handle such situations. Most times when you see some siblings fight each other with so much hatred, so much animosity, you'll be wondering whether they are actually from the same parents. But it will shock you that they are actually from the same parents, same mother, and same father. And yet, you see so much animosity between them that when they are fighting, they can carry weapons and fight each other. And this has become a serious concern to me. So that is why we are going to talk about this and see how we can handle them. So I'm just going to mention some few signs that shows there is siblings rivalry between your children. And once you see any of these signs, you must do something about it so that it won't escalate. Because if it escalates, you may not really like the results. So number one point is when your children constantly fight each other, either verbally or physical fights. When they always fight each other verbally, calling themselves names, fighting physically, it simply means there is siblings rivalry, and you must do something very fast to correct it or to stop it before it escalates. Yes, I know that it's very common for siblings to have misunderstanding. Yes, that is very true. It is very common. But when it has become constant, as in when it has become too much, that it happens maybe almost every day, they fight over one thing or the other, that simply means there is a problem. It's not just a mere misunderstanding, it simply means there is a sibling rivalry between them. And you must do something as a parent. So misunderstanding is not a bad thing, but when it happens, severally, almost every day, fights here and there, abuses here and there, you just know that there is more to it. It's not just a mere misunderstanding, but siblings rivalry. So you have to do something as a parent as soon as possible before it is too late. And number two sign you must look out for is when siblings begin to call each other negative names. It simply means there is problem, there is more to it. They begin to call themselves negative names like stupid, you are foolish, you are an idiot, you are this, you are that, you are a thief, all those things. You know that there is more to it, and you just have to do something as a parent. So it means that there is siblings rivalry between them. You need to take a bold step to stop it as soon as possible. So number three signs you must look out for is when your children compete for parental attention. It simply means there is a serious sibling rivalry between them, and you just have to do something about it. When they compete for attention, compete for their parents' attention, either the mother or the father attention, they can even paint each other black just to be, look good in front of their mother or in front of their father. Simply means there is sibling rivalry between them, and you just have to do something about it. When they compete for attention as a mother, as a father, it's not a good thing, because all of them are your children. So they shouldn't allow, or they shouldn't expect you to give them a special treat. more than the others and the rest of them. So when they begin to showcase such things, it simply means there is a sign of siblings rivalry, and you must do something about it as soon as possible. And number four sign you must look out for is when there is so much envy among your children. It could be one against the other. This one envy this one, while this one envy this one. So you must do something about it. That's very dangerous. When it has gotten to that point that they envy each other, maybe if this one is succeeding, this one envy that one, and if this one is succeeding more than this one, he or she envies the other. So you find that is a very big problem, and you need to do something about it because it's not a good sign at all. If they envy each other, it simply means that they're seeing themselves as enemy, and it's not supposed to be so. So when you see such, please, you need to take a bold step and stop it as soon as possible before it to escalate. You just have to do with it as soon as possible. So number five sign you must look out for is when your children begin to tattle each other. What do I mean by tattling each other? When they begin to speak ill about each other. I know I mentioned it something like that previously. When they begin to, try to paint each other black in front of you as a parent, this one will go and tell you what this other one did. Maybe when you were not around and all that. But he will not tell you what he did as well. He can only tell you what the sibling, maybe the ones he's envious of, did, so that he can be like a good child, be like a better person in front of you as a parent. So they will tell you, or he or she will tell you what this other person did when you were not there, and he won't tell you what he did as well. And sometimes the mistake what the parents do is that when they hear such a thing, they won't even ask questions. It will baffle you that when you ask that one that he or she tried to paint black, when you ask him or her what happened, you find out that this one that came to tell you bad about him actually did the worst. But he won't tell you what he did. He can only tell you what the other person did so that you can, you know, be angry with that child, and then he will become a better one. So when you see all these things, it simply means that there is siblings rivalry. These kind of things happen in most families, but we don't really take it serious. And these are signs of siblings rivalry. And you must need to do something as a parent so that you won't watch your children become enemy to each other in your presence. So you need to do something to stop it as soon as possible. Correct them and tell them that that is not the best thing to do. So when a particular child begins to tell you begins to come to you to tell you bad about the other one, it simply means that there is siblings rivalry, and a serious one at that. So you must have to stop it as soon as possible. Even if he tells you something that the senior or the junior sister did, also tell him, and you, what did you do? Or you also try to hear from the others and hear what him also did, because he's not a saint or she's not a saint. When he tells you ill about the others, let him also tell you about himself. Let him not look like a saint in front of you and then paint the others black. So when you see some of these things, it simply means there is a serious siblings rivalry between your children, and you have to do something about it as a parent. Now we are going to look at causes of siblings rivalry. There are so many causes of siblings rivalry, and I'm going to mention them one after the other so that you will know where these things are coming from. Because most times it's also coming from we, the parents. So you have to look out for this. If you find yourself doing some of these things, these are the reasons why they are having siblings rivalry amongst them. That is why they are having conflicts amongst them. So you must look at this. You must look at these things I'm going to mention, the causes of siblings rivalry. So when you know these things, you know how to avoid those things so that it won't bring unnecessary siblings rivalry amongst your children. So number one cause of siblings rivalry is when you constantly praise one child and criticize the other. So many parents have gotten it wrong in this aspect. They've gotten it wrong that they praise one child, sing his praises and then criticize the other. That's a very wrong thing to do as a parent. You don't know what you're doing. You are causing serious harm amongst the children. So don't praise one child and criticize the other. There is a better way to do things. I happen to have a twin. Yes, I happen to have twin. And the truth is that their capability is not the same. Intellectually, they are not the same. So I know that one is better than the other in that particular area. So I know how to handle them. But you see that there are most families that you see that maybe the parents will start praising this one because he or she is doing well more than the other one. But that's not the right thing to do. As a mother, when I saw that the second one was actually doing well intellectually more than the first one, I mean, the second one that came out was doing well than the first one that came out. So I decided to do something about it. What I did was that I wasn't even praising this other one. I would just encourage them and other. But the step I took was putting more effort in teaching the other one that is not really doing well. Not that she's not doing well, but I noticed that when they were in primary, I know I've said this in one of my previous videos just recently. I noticed that when they were in nursery 2, the second one started reading, while the first one wasn't reading. So I didn't, try to criticize the one that wasn't reading, but I decided to do something about it. What did I do? I decided to teach her more, give her more attention in that particular area so that she can cope and start reading just like the sister. It even got to the point that I got a private teacher that was teaching her, just to cope, with the sister, just for her to be able to get to that point the sister is. So at a point, she picked up, I think she started reading on their nursery 3 second term, while the sister started reading when they were in nursery 2. She started reading in nursery 3 second term, nursery 3, and she started reading. So that was it. I didn't try to criticize her because she wasn't doing well just like the sister. I didn't try to compare them and other. That's the mistake that so many parents do, and it's very, very wrong. When you begin to praise one child and criticize the other because they are not in the same level, is very, very wrong. Every child is different. They mustn't be the same. Their intellectual ability must not be the same. So you don't compare them, you don't criticize the one that is not doing that well. You don't do that, because once you do that, it will create a kind of siblings rivalry, and you don't know the seed you're sowing. If you sow such seeds, even it will germinate and begin to bear fruit, you will not be able to stand it. So please, do not criticize one child and praise the other. All you just need to do is to encourage them to do better. Even the one that, even if you need to praise the one that did well, not in front of the other one that did not do well, you don't have to do that in front of her. So just tell her, you tried, keep on doing well. Then you tell this other one, you also did well, but you really need to improve. Very simple. So you don't need to criticize one and praise the other. No, just use the right words, pass the message, and then do the needful, what you're supposed to do in order for the other one, in order for that one that is not really doing well to do better. You just put in more interest in her, try to encourage her to do better as well. So that's the best thing to do. So the last thing you shouldn't think of is to begin to praise one and criticize the other, begin to compare them. That's the last thing you should even think of doing as a parent. So number 2 cause of siblings rivalry is when you as a parent encourage your children to compete against each other. The last thing you should do is to encourage them to compete against each other. That's a very wrong thing to do. Don't ever try that as a parent. You should rather make them see themselves as being in a team. Make them realize that they are in one team, so they don't need to compete against each other. Rather, they are in one team, they are competing with others outside. Yes, make them realize that all of them are in one team, they are competing with others, and not for you to make them to see themselves as competition amongst them. No, that's the wrong thing to do. You shouldn't try that as a parent at all. Your children are supposed to be in the same team. They are not supposed to be against each other in competition. Please avoid that. Anything that will bring a kind of competition amongst them, no, do not bring it up. So number 3 cause of siblings rivalry is when one child is constantly in charge every time. When one particular child is constantly in charge while the others are just watching, that could bring siblings rivalry. Yes, I know that in both families, once the parents are not around, the next person to take over responsibility, or the person that will be in charge, will always be the eldest in the family. Your eldest child will always be the one to take, that role of father or mother. That is very good, but you just have to also put in, put eyes on them to see how they are playing that role, whether they are playing it well or not. Because if that eldest brother or eldest sister is not playing that role well, it may bring a kind of siblings rivalry. There's something I do. My first child is a girl. So most times when I'm going out, she will always be the one to, be in charge, take care of the siblings and all that. But I don't really leave everything, in her hand for her to take charge. There are some certain things I would like to put in place before leaving the house. Sometimes when I share food for them, I will make sure that I share their meat and the rest of them. If I will need to put one meat for them, I will do that before leaving. I'll just cover it and show everybody their food before leaving. Why do I do so? I do that so that the senior will not take advantage of my absence and, eat whatever that belongs to them, maybe like their meat and the rest of them. Maybe she can decide to share one meat for two persons when she's supposed to give them one each, and she will eat the remaining. So you try to avoid those things. Even when I buy things for them, so for instance, I can tell them to go and buy biscuits, and the eldest son will come. A lot of parents will tell her, okay, share with your siblings. But most times I will tell them, bring the biscuits. I'll use my hand and share those things. Make sure that I share them to each of them. Even if the smaller ones, their own is lesser, as far as it's coming from me, they won't complain. But once it is their sister that is sharing it and they notice that their own is smaller, it has become an issue. But when you as a mother or as a father shares it by yourself, even if you give them a smaller one because they are smaller than the bigger ones, they won't complain. But once they share it between them and they notice that the bigger one is collecting the bigger size and she's giving them smaller one, it will become an issue. So sometimes you don't need to give them, give them that opportunity to cheat the smaller ones, because children will always be children. You will say that, my child will not. It is not true. Just give them, watch them one day, buy things, just behave as if you're not watching. Watch what the senior one will do. It will marvel, it will surprise you, or it will shock you on what he or she will do. They will definitely want to cheat the smaller ones. That's the truth. Don't know whether you experience it in your home or not, but I know I've seen it several times. So in order to avoid all those unnecessary things, you just have to use your hand and do the sharing so that everybody will know the one that belongs to them. Nobody will put eyes in the other person's own. So you find out that giving a particular child the opportunity to be in charge every time could be very dangerous. It could bring a kind of family or siblings rivalry. But these are things you can actually avoid if you do those things by yourself. Even if you're going out, you just need to put one or two things, in place before leaving so that it won't bring unnecessary conflict or rivalry between them. So number 4 cause of siblings rivalry is when you constantly pay more attention to one child's needs and interests. When you constantly pay more attention to one child's needs and interests more than the others, that can bring siblings rivalry. Don't be a parent that always concentrates on one child as if that's the only child you have. You pamper that child, you meet her needs, you meet his needs more than the others. You always speak better of him, you always speak good of him and condemn the others and all that. This is very dangerous. I think this is the most dangerous of them all. When your children see that you love a particular child more than them, it could just bring a kind of siblings rivalry that is not supposed to be there. So that is why you need to treat all your children equally. Show them love equally. Don't show love to one more than the others, because that could be very dangerous. I see some parents, maybe they have like 3 children and they decide to send one to a good private school, and they send the other to maybe a school that is just behind their house, because they feel that that one does not really know much. He's not intelligent just like the other two. So they think that sending him to the same school with the others is just like wasting of money. So they will prefer to send him to a school behind their building there that they don't need to pay much. After all, he's not intelligent. Whether he succeeds there or not, it doesn't matter as far as they are not spending much money. So they prefer to send these other ones that are more intelligent in a better school, and this other one can go to anywhere. When you try that as a parent, you don't know what you're creating. The seed they are creating, when it begins to mature, you won't be able to stand this as a parent. Please don't ever try that. If your children will need to go to a school, let all of them go there, except there is a specific reason, a genuine reason, which they are aware of, and they are okay with it, they are comfortable with it, that you should send them. But if it is this kind of reasons that you send a particular child to a bad school just because you feel that sending him to a better school is just like a waste of money, my dear, you don't know what you're doing. It's very dangerous. What you're trading on is very dangerous because it will come back and hurt you as a parent. So don't ever try that. If they will need to go to a school, let all of them go there. Even if that one does not know anything, please leave him. In fact, I've seen a parent that did this. She put all her children in a very expensive school. There's a particular one that don't really know much. He's not as intelligent as the others, but she put all of them there. That child was going there, but he kept on failing and failing. He was the one that told the mother, please withdraw me from this school. I don't want to go there again. And they have to change him to another school. But not that it's a bad school as well, but they changed him to a better school self that will even help him more. You understand? They have to organize for a private lessons that anytime he finishes in school, he has a private teacher that takes time to teach him. So he comes back very late more than the others because they needed extra lesson for him. And that really helped him. At a point, he started coping. So that is it. If there is a genuine reason why you should withdraw one particular child or not to put one particular child with the others in the same school, it's okay. But when it is because you feel that that one does not know anything, so me putting him there is just like a waste of money. You don't know what you're doing. That is a very dangerous thing to do as a parent because it will hurt you. Because when that child begins to display or begin to give you back what you have given to him, thinking that you hate him, that's why you put him in a common school, in a community school. So he won't like the outcome at all. So please do not try that as a parent. If you need to put them in a school, let all of them be there. No matter what, let them be there. As long as there's a genuine reason or the child himself says that he does not want to go to that place, that is fine. But never you try that as a parent. So that is where we are going to end it for today. We are going to continue in our next video. I have so many other points I'm going to raise, even the solution to this. When you see this kind of things happening, the solution to it, how to handle it, that I will discuss in my next video. So guys, thank you very much for your time. I really do appreciate it. And please remember to subscribe to my channel if you have not done so. Like, comment, and share this video. It could just help a family out there. So please share it with your contacts. See you guys on my next video, and bye for now.